What's up, everybody? This is Cujo here, back again with some of the E3, the aftermath, after the smoke follows. We're going to talk about the PlayStation 4 conference here. I'm sitting here with DJ 305701 version 2. I always get your fucking gamer tag fucked up. This is DJ version 2 for you people that don't know. Scum Nation OG. We're going to sit here. We're going to talk about Miami, Florida, drinking some drink, smoking on some fucking limited edition 2003 Cuban cigars, getting it down one time. Talk to me about the PlayStation 4 press conference. What were your thoughts?
Well, I don't own a PS4, to be honest with you. But from what I saw, it goes down the same thing. They're all doing a bunch of remakes also between PlayStation and Microsoft. They all, I consider that this year was more based on indie games, and they didn't have much. They had like 2 sessions, if I'm not correct. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but all they mentioned most was the Sony TV. 2 times they mentioned that.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when the press conference first started, I thought that Microsoft was going to get their asses handed to them again this year.
So yeah.
By the way that their press conference started, they started off with Destiny. They started off hard. They kept going. And then they faded off and started talking about PlayStation TV and all of the content that they want. And that actually brought it down a grade for me.
Nonetheless, that they said that they have the better graphics or whatever, better system, or I don't know how to put it.
PS4, I mean, let's get real here. If you guys want to get technical, and some people may say that Cujo, myself, is an Xbox fanboy or whatever,
no.
And I don't give a fuck what people say, really.
Let me clear that up.
But let me, hold on. And people might say that I'm an Xbox fanboy or whatever, but to be honest with you people, I play every single type of game there is. I play multiple genres. I play multiple platforms.
Yes.
And the reason why last gen, the 360, was the one that I leaned on is because they had more better games, and the online community was better.
Yes.
Now, is that to say that this current gen is better? I can't say that yet, because we're just in the infancy stages of that. But one of the things that I did have to knock down Sony down was because one thing I had to knock Sony down a notch was, not only did they talk about the TV and all of their network programming, which has nothing fucking to do with E3, because E3 should be all about games, fucking period.
Yes.
That's why Microsoft failed last year, because they did that whole Connect shit. They didn't do Connect this year. It was all games.
Yes, sir.
That's why I put them up. But Sony ended up doing that, and I had to bring them down a notch. Not only did I have to bring them down a notch on my vote for them on that aspect, but Sony sit here and they talked all this shit last year about how they're going to have over 100 exclusives for PlayStation 4.
Where they at?
Exactly. Where are the exclusives at? Now, it's one thing to say that you have exclusive AAA titles or first-party titles, and there's another thing to say that you have exclusive indie titles. Let's get real. As a gamer, as a system seller, you're not going to buy a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One for a fucking indie game.
So answer me this. They're bringing GTA 5 to the PlayStation 4 when you already owned it on the PS3 or the 360, and you played it. You gonna play it again on a new console?
But
only because it looks better?
And in order to justify that action, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Sony or Xbox. That has to do with Rockstar.
Point taken. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Now, one of the games I was really excited about, No, it had nothing to do with Destiny. It had nothing to do with Destiny. And I'm going to talk about Destiny here in a minute and how I believe...
Please don't tell me Uncharted.
No. It's got nothing to do with Uncharted, but it's something that I have to talk about. Bungie and 343 Studios. It's a conspiracy theory I have, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. But one of the games that I also thought was awesome was Bloodborne. I'm a huge fan.
I'm lost on that one.
I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls. I think Dark Souls brings it back to the old school, hard as fuck. You know, your skill.
I haven't played it yet.
You need to play it because it's free right now on
No,
the Xbox Live.
I got it, but I still haven't played it, dude.
It's gonna be it's a double-edged sword. It's gonna be gratifying when you advance, and it's one of those games like when you were playing NES, Ninja Gaiden, back old school, where you want to throw the fucking controller at the console.
Oh, yeah?
It's one of those games that pisses you off.
I remember back in the days when Gear 2 came out, I literally threw my controller up against my fucking wall, and that thing went to pieces. I got so mad because it didn't work. I just grabbed a hammer and finished breaking the fucking controller, man.
That's some rage right there. That's some rage. that's some rage, baby. That's some rage.
Gears too, because I couldn't handle Gears like back then, but now you can say I'm a mediocre player when it comes to Gears. I could handle my own, but now I just put that aside. You know, I don't do the.
I think Bloodborne is going to be an awesome game. I think Bloodborne.
I need to look up into that shit.
I think Bloodborne is going to be one of those system sellers for PS4. Even though PS4 is technically leading the console wars right now, but when you look at a console,
is it just PlayStation only?
It's From Software is the developer, and Sony's a co-developer. So when Demon's Souls first came out, that's how it was originally.
I don't even know about that shit.
That's how it was originally, but Demon's Souls, it was a PS3 exclusive. And then they ported out Demon's Souls to be multi-platform. And I think that this game is going to follow the same suit. It's going to be, you know, Bloodborne, PS4 exclusive, and then they'll have like Bloodborne Souls or something that's going to be multi-platform.
That shit like some Elder Scrolls or something like that?
It's if I were going to compare Demon's Souls or Dark Souls to a game, I would have to say that it's like an open world
Sandbox?
Ninja Gaiden. And the only reason why I'd say it's an open world Ninja Gaiden is that in Dark Souls you have the ability to go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
As open world, quote unquote open world. And I also say it's like Ninja Gaiden because of the difficulty, because it's brutally hard. And when I'm comparing it to Ninja Gaiden, I'm comparing it to Ninja Gaiden in the NES era.
The first one.
Or the first one on the 360 and PS3.
That bitch had no continues, no nothing.
Because it was super, super difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'd have to compare it to. And I think that's what they'd end up doing. They'd end up doing a port for that. Other than that, Uncharted 4 looks amazing. Because everything that was shown in Uncharted 4 is quote unquote by Naughty Dog.
Uh-huh.
It's considered in-engine. Okay? And I think that Uncharted 4 is great, but
I haven't played it, but
I think Uncharted 4 is great and the Uncharted series is awesome, but at the same time, I think that realistically, The Last of Us, if they were to do a Last of Us number 2, would be better than Uncharted. Because I said before that The Last of Us, I personally feel, in the last generation, The Last of Us has got to be, hands down, one of the best experiences.
You want a PS3?
I do not own a PS3. I've seen people play it. I've got hands-on, very minimal on it, which makes me want to play it. But from what everybody says and everybody has experienced,
I just bought one for $100, man, at work.
Yeah, I mean, but they say then you need to get The Last of Us, because The Last of Us is it's one of those games that is done so well that not only the gameplay is great, but the story makes you have that emotion with the characters like it's supposed to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that I see that game, it's like a Hard Rain. You remember that one?
Yes.
It's what? Hard Rain, The Last of Us, and I think it's Beyond of something.
Beyond Two Souls?
That one. I think those three games look similar. Like, the way it plays, though. I don't know. I could be wrong. I have never played none of these games. But I remember one time playing Hard Rain, and all you do is just button combination, and you go through the game.
It is kind of like that in the aspect, but where The Last of Us differentiates itself from that is that The Last of Us, it's not one of those like point and click adventures. It has a couple of those elements in it, but it's not like that. If I were to compare it to something, there's really nothing that you can compare The Last of Us to be completely honest with you, because it's a completely different game of how you would play.
You're right, but that's the way I see it, though. I see it like it's a hard rain copy, just with more, like button combinations, and you go here, back and forth, kind of thing.
But the thing about the difference I would have to say between Hard Rain and The Last of Us is that Hard Rain is more of like a detective scenario, where The Last of Us puts, really, I'd hate to compare it like this, but it's the only really thing that I can compare it to, is that it would compare you almost to the sense of how like Resident Evil 2 was, where like, you know how Resident Evil 2, they barely just give you enough shit to get through the game? That's kind of like how The Last of Us is. But on top of that, imagine that you're Jill, and who's that other nigga that runs around with them? Gosh damn it.
I was just remembering, like, the way that I'm comparing that game is like the arcade game that came out on, I don't know if it's on the PlayStation also, but I remember it's on the 360. I think it's Alive or something like that. The arcade game that came out a while back.
Oh, I Am Alive.
That one.
Yeah.
That's how the way that I see it, though. But
it does have some of those elements, but it does it way better. It's all about survival, and that's why I compared it to Resident Evil 2, because it's about that. Like, when you're Leon and Jill, just imagine Resident Evil 2, where you're Leon, but at the same time you have to save and protect Jill's bitch ass through it, and it gives you that attachment to the characters. And I was really hoping, instead of a remake of The Last of Us, that they would actually do a remake or do a Last of Us 2, because realistically, if you're looking at a remake, I mean, you're not really getting your dollar value buying The Last of Us again, where compared to on the PS4 they're remaking it, whereas like compared to that to the Master Chief Collection, you get more bang for your buck with the Master Chief Collection.
Shit, you're getting 4 games.
Granted, the Master Chief Collection has more content than The Last of Us.
What's the value on that one?
They're both $60.
Really?
Yes.
The collection one is 60?
The collection is $60, but you get more bang for your buck. And granted that the Halo collection has more content, but what I have liked to seen Sony do, because Sony has always been a really big customer service kind of company. They're always about the gamer. They've always facilitated to them.
Even about the consoles, man.
Yes,
they do. I
do.
Got one, and I just saw, if you go down in the marketplace, I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called on the PlayStation Store. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. On the PlayStation Store, when you go down the marketplace, you can see that you can buy a service plan for your PlayStation console.
You can.
I did
and
not
that's
know
great.
that. That's awesome.
They cater that. They cater that. They cater that to the customer, and that was the downfall that I saw in the value. Like, if you compare the remake of The Last of Us compared to the Halo Master Chief Collection, granted the Master Chief Collection has more content because they've had more games come out compared to The Last of Us, but I would have hoped that Sony would have been like, hey, we're gonna give you The Last of Us, but at the same time, we're gonna give you the DLC for free for that $60 value, rather than making you buy the. No, they're making you buy the DLC over again.
Okay, well, like a season pass, or you buy it separately?
It's just separately. They didn't include the DLC into it. Up to this point, that may change by the time this video comes up, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but as of this point in time, they have not announced that yet. And that's something that I really like to see. And that's another one of the reasons why I would have to say that both Microsoft and Sony, I would have to give them both a B+ in their presentation.
Yes, sir.
Well, with that said, check us up on the next video. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo press conference and the lackluster shit that we had on there. And that's about it. This is Cujo. I'm out. This is DJ, and I guess he's out. Peace.